Welcome to part 2 of the cheap procumbens nana Juniper Bonsai. So I'm going to pot it in this terracotta pot that's it's kind of a lower profile, or lower height, so it makes for a really good training pot for bonsai because it already gets used to a more shallow dish or tray or pot. And I'm just gonna cut a little square for the drainage hole, and I already got the soil mixed and got this ready to go, or gonna have this ready to go. So I'm just gonna prune the roots, and then we'll see what happens. All right. So once again, like I said, I'm in my kitchen, so this could turn out to be a big mess. But I'm at least over the trash can, and I'm gonna try to do this as neat as I can. So here we go. Pretty loose dirt. Just start by breaking it up without cutting anything just yet. But yeah, not really root bound. I mean, not too much. It's not thick with roots, but I'd say it's a good amount, healthy amount. So now we could really start to see the trunk better. You know, it's got more of a look now that we can see it. I'm not sure if they have any bigger roots going off, you know, outward, but continue to find that out as I'm going. So now I'm going to take my clippers and start cutting off what I know for sure I'm not going to keep. So take off some of these bigger or longer roots. And that wasn't really too much that went down to the bottom of the pot. So the rest of it, probably trim a little bit more lightly. Yeah, so I don't even know if I'm going to need my root pick. I was planning on it, but this is soil's really loose, so I might not need to. So yeah, surprisingly less roots than I thought. Hopefully the tree is healthy. It looks really healthy, so I'm banking on that it is. And it looks pretty good. So now we can get our pot and then kind of see how that's going to set in there. Which, a good rule that I've heard from people is like, try not to have the roots when you go down like hanging over the edge of the pot. So I'm going to trim a little bit back, but not too much depth wise. So I'm going to trim a little bit of the outer edges of it. A little bit of the depth, but see how that looks. Alright, I'm liking it. Let me just cut a little bit more off the edges. And I probably said this before, but one of the things I've learned from other people is that it's good to have your root trimmer different than your branch trimmer, because the root trimmer is going to have a lot of dirt, which over time is going to dull your blades a lot faster. So it's good to have two different cutters, one for branches, well, probably several for branches depending on the size, and really even a couple different sizes for roots. But one like this, like a nice kind of cutter that this can do bigger branches too, or bigger roots as well. But and I'll also use this for like just normal pruning of like other bushes and stuff outside. But specifically for bonsai, if I'm going to work on branches, I have my own set of clippers, those red ones, these ones that I use, and a few other nicer ones that are strictly used for branches, so that they don't get dirt on the blade or in the springs or anything. So yeah, little tip. Hopefully that'll help you out. I am going to cut a little bit more off the bottom. And hopefully this will take off in the new pot and really spread its wings, spread its roots, and be able to thrive. And I can start developing the look now that it's going to be in more of a pot where it's above, or where the plant is above it. I could really develop it now that I'll have a clear image of the trunk and the branches and everything. So I'll be right back. I'm going to get the soil that I have in a different container, and we'll start loading this guy up. So here's my soil mix I told you about. It's like a, I think it's called turfus, mixed with, yeah. So it's I bought this at Tractor Supply Company. The clay stuff. It's like it's called like oil spill cleanup or liquid cleanup or something. But it's a huge bag and it's super cheap, dirt cheap, literally. And then you can mix it with soil. One thing I didn't add in this that a lot of other guys do is pumice. So hopefully I don't run into any issues, but I might. Just kind of experimenting. And again, it's so good working with cheaper trees because although yes, I definitely want it to survive, if it doesn't survive, I didn't use up a whole lot of money and I learned a lot in the process. So a lot of times with doing things on a budget, you learn how to, or you're learning what shortcuts you can and cannot take. So I'm going to see if this works, and even if it stays healthy for a year, or if I need to repot it after a year or whatever, that's fine. I'm learning as I go, so bear with me. And if you're ahead of me on the soil, that's totally awesome. Do whatever you need to do to make it work. So I'm gonna start loading this guy up. Let's see if that's a good height. Grab my tree. So that's pretty good. I think I want to go a little bit more on the soil underneath first. Get it a little bit higher up. Especially once I water it, it'll shrink down a little bit. So I think I'm digging that look. Yeah, I'm liking that. So again, I decided that this is the front. I talked about it earlier, or in the last video. That I want this to be the front because it's curved kind of more like this, and it's pretty welcoming as far as its look. I like this little gap here. It's just nice. It reminds me of, again, being able to see like some kind of critter up there, or a person climbing a tree or something. And this, I feel like, this side I feel like is a little more closed off to the world. So we'll have this be the front. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more to the top here. Oh no, the tree took a fall. This tree is so light, by the way. This juniper, I don't know if that's a juniper thing or what, but super light. So, okay, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is take the rest of this soil, not the rest of it, but more of it, and go over the top. Stop for a second, start spreading that around. The tree is going to sit generally about in the middle of the pot. What I do want to do is create more space, open space in the front. So if I wanted to put a rock or a little figurine or something in the front, that's doable. And in the back, I don't have to worry so much because I'm never going to have it displayed like that. I want it to be displayed like this. So I want the visual to be sort of the ground, and then it sweeps up to the tree instead of just pot tree. That makes sense? So kind of like a shape. And that's just, as I'm going, these are just things I'm thinking about. Like, you know, I think what's so beautiful about looking at trees is not just the tree itself, but kind of the whole setting. And so in a pot, obviously you're limited to the rim of your pot. So do whatever you can when you're placing the tree to really give it the overall look that you want to go for. So And again, because I'm thinking more, you know, big oak tree and big kind of open canopy type wide stretched tree, I want it to have almost like the field is going up to the tree. So, all right, I'll stop talking. So I don't know if I have a chopstick from outside, so what I'm gonna do, and I won't tell my wife I did this. Well, if she sees the video, she'll find out. But I'm just gonna grab one that I had on the table from food and start working in soil around all the roots. I'm excited to try this soil mixture that I did and see if it works, see if it doesn't work. But I think it'll probably be okay. But yeah, so getting the tree sort of in place. What I'm probably gonna do, because I did not wire this tree in, like, as far as to the pot, what I'm probably gonna do is put kind of maybe a rock right here. Something I do a lot, where if I'm not gonna wire the tree to the pot, I'll put a rock just to help stabilize it as the roots are growing and kind of finding their place in the pot. So that's pretty good. The next step is I'm going to take it outside now and water it, which I don't need to show you guys that. It's the same as all the other ones. So there we go. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So there we go. We have a $6 juniper in a $3 pot with virtually pennies worth of soil. So $9, we have a really cool big or miniature, maybe oak tree, live oak tree looking bonsai. $9, that's an awesome deal, and it's super fun to work on, and hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.